All right, good morning, guys. You can see my light there. Let me move this over a little bit. All right, there we go. There we go. Getting a haircut today, so excuse the mess that I look like today, but it's been a little bit of a long weekend. Got to relax a little bit. Hopefully everyone is mentally rested, prepared for another day. Today, I think it's going to present some opportunity. We're already getting some good volatility here in the morning. Of course, it's to the downside right now, but we have some good levels to watch. I'm actually going to focus a little bit to the downside today. Now, of course, coming into the morning looking for a single direction is something that I don't like to do. So I need to make sure I'm not biased too much today. Because every time I get a little bit too biased to a single direction in the pre-market, it usually ends up working the opposite way. So going to stay as neutral as possible this morning, but we definitely are seeing some downside across the board, which could present that morning push to afternoon rejection type day. Those are the types of days that I like to see. Those present some great opportunities. The morning pushes after a red pre-market, the rejections, let's say at previous day closes, and then the downside move, which is very easy to catch at times. So we're gonna, we'll play out a few scenarios here on today's live stream, see what we can expect. Look at a few stocks, look at the futures. This morning we're dropping. We have some earnings this morning. That's not the main reason. If we go to the SPY tab, we have oil that's pushing up this morning. And we have treasury yields that are rising this morning. So you have crude oil soaring to 85. That's in the news. A drone attack on United Arab Emirates. So anytime there is concern of oil supply being decreased, obviously price will go up, right? Because less supply equals higher price. Less supply, the same demand. If you keep demand the same, and you have less supply, theoretically, price should increase, right? So that's why you're seeing oil push up this morning. If you guys look at the /CL, which we will today in the live stream, you'll see that oil futures are pushing higher. And then you have the treasury yield that is pushing higher as well. You have Goldman Sachs report this morning, a little bit weak. And we'll go over all that in today's live stream. So I guess good morning to everyone. How we doing? Well, 250 people here. So shout out to anyone that came on to the live stream yesterday. We just chilled. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Looked at a few charts, got ready for today. Today will be the real live stream. Yesterday was just more of a, hang out, see what's going on, look at a few charts. So good morning to everyone that is here again today. Hopefully everyone is prepared for hopefully another good week. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Why not? Morning, JJ, Chef. All right. So today is the 18th of January. It is Tuesday. We have futures, of course, as always, and we have some earnings calendar. So we're getting into earnings season, guys. Earnings season is approaching. It's upon us, and that is something we need to really focus on this week. Why? Because we can be looking at a lot of stocks that will be affected by earnings that our technical analysis could be validated, right? So we need to make sure that we understand that any technical analysis that we talk about in today's stream, or any stream in the future here in the next few weeks, has to be taken with a grain of salt, because earnings will and almost always sort of invalidates the technical analysis that we do. So we need to make sure we know that, right? If we bring up the economic calendar for today we have, that was yesterday. Today we have nothing much. Manufacturing index 830. I don't think that'll do much. Not much tomorrow. Building permits. And then we just have our normal initial jobless claims on Thursday. So nothing too big on the economic calendar. So that I like to see that. I like to see that there's nothing, groundbreaking on the economic calendar. So that's good to see. Next week we have FOMC statement and Jerome Powell news conference. So that's something to watch next week on Wednesday. But this week, nothing too much. So that's good. If we go to the earnings calendar, I'll go ahead and pull that up. So the earnings calendar is stacked, right? It's getting to that point where we're starting to get stacked here. We're starting to get a lot of stuff on the earnings calendar. So today we have, let me see if I can find one. I want to get the pre-market. Here we go. Let me pull this one up. Let's look at this week, and then let's look at all of it. So here's this week alone. So this week alone, Goldman Sachs this morning, Charles Schwab this morning, PNC, BNY Mellon. So we have some banks this morning, right, on the earnings calendar. That was, that's happening right now, if not already all released. Today, after hours, we have Interactive Brokers. That's about the only one that I really care about here. That's interesting. GT Vine with the orange symbol. That means GT Vine's been a member for quite a while. Thank you, GT Vine. Appreciate that. Good morning. Tomorrow before open, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. So some more banks tomorrow. UNH tomorrow should be interesting. United Health Group. I think that's UNH. Yeah, I'm almost positive. Why does that look different than what I would expect? Yeah, that's tomorrow. I don't know why I'm questioning that. All right, so UNH tomorrow, P&G tomorrow. So some healthcare that might affect healthcare, P&G, XLP. So we'll take a look at those tomorrow. United Airlines tomorrow, American Airlines. So some more airlines tomorrow and Thursday. And then here's a big one that I'm interested in here. Netflix. The Netflix Thursday after close. That is interesting to me. That is something I want to focus on because that will not only affect Netflix, but it's going to affect Disney. It's going to have some movement on Roku and a few other stocks that are in that streaming service. So Thursday after close is should be interesting on Netflix. So that's the earnings calendar. Here's the whole earnings calendar. This is pretty massive. Next week, we have some big tech names, right? Microsoft, we have Tesla, Apple. So some big names that are going to be reporting next week. And then we start to really get into the heat of it. We really get into the, all the names starting to report. So, this is not the time to go gambling on earnings. This is the time to be careful, right? So make sure to be careful the next few weeks. So that's that. Let's go ahead and get started. So first off, I just want to show you the oil futures real quick. Here is this morning. So you guys can see the oil futures have been sort of increasing since sort of the futures market has opened. You can see basically in the middle of the night last night into this morning, we've been pushing higher on that oil futures. So what stocks is that going to affect, right? Well, the biggest one I would keep in mind is ExxonMobil. So ExxonMobil should theoretically move higher with those oil futures. So keep an eye on XOM today. On top of that, XLE has been strong as well. So you have the energy sector, which is hot, and you have oil futures, which are pushing up this morning. So this is the XLE. So I'm very interested to see what XOM does today. XOM has been on an absolute tear, and it could be getting more upside due to the oil futures this morning. So that and CVX. CVX is another one. This is Chevron, right? Excuse me. Chevron, another one that is pushing to highs this morning. So oil futures up, Chevron, ExxonMobil, any other names that are correlated to oil prices should be higher this morning. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that here in the pre-market. All right. Let's go ahead and go into the futures. So if you guys were on the stream yesterday, we were talking about this little range on the market. And in between this range, I think it's right to be neutral, right? To be neutral in between the range of 16,000 and 15,150. Because in between this range, we've seen a lot of volatility and really no direction. As of right now, you guys can see we are moving lower this morning, but I am watching that 15,150. So we're still about 200 points above that level. So I wouldn't say, we're guaranteed to hit that today, but there is definitely a possibility that we do come back and test that level once again. This is those August, September highs. This is where we bounced off of the previous Monday. If we go down to the 30-minute chart, you guys can see this is where we tested back here on Monday of last week. So we came back here Monday, touched that 15,150, and had that little push off of it, multi-day push off of it. Now, we had that multi-day push, but where did we reject? We rejected right at that psychological 16,000 level that we've talked about. So 16,000 psychological, that is our resistance here. Very tough resistance that I would be surprised to see break out. I think the only thing that breaks us out above 16,000 in the short term is going to be some positive earnings on tech names. So maybe that is the catalyst to get over. But besides that catalyst, I really just don't see why tech would push through this resistance without some type of catalyst, because right now there really is none. 15,150 to the downside, that is the level I would be interested in today. Does the Nasdaq try to test that level today? That is something I will be watching. We have some previous support here around this 15.3. You guys can see we're trying to hold that area today. If I go to the 15-minute chart, this is from Friday of last week. So you can see right here, this low of day on Friday of last week is where the Nasdaq is trying to hold today. So you have that 15.3 from Friday. Let's see what that does today. That is a level I will be watching in the morning on the Nasdaq. If we crack below that 15.3, turn it into resistance, then I think your next move is probably down to 15,150, in my opinion. So that 15.3 is going to be on watch for me to the downside. If we break below that, I would say the downside comes in. If we start to push to the upside, then we just got to watch some of these previous levels, right? This 15.4, you have a little bit of previous lows, previous lows, previous lows. That's a level I'd be concerned to the upside. And then you have these highs up here where we rejected in the pre-market right around 15.6. So there's quite a bit of levels to the upside. There's a lot of resistance, off in this little pre-market after hours and Friday's price action. If we do engulf this price action, if we do get that double bottom that maybe that Ryan is considering, let's say we move down to 15,150 and we get that double bottom, you're just going to want to see an engulfment of this price action here. If we do get an engulfment of this price action, then, this would be a little bit, this would be nice if we do engulf this price action right here. I think that's a little bit far-fetched, a little bit, unless something crazy happens today, right? Unless we just get some really big strength. I just don't see the catalyst for it, but you guys know the market can do things that are not expected. So this morning, I am definitely watching 15.4, 15.3, and 15.6. Those are my levels here. And then to the downside, that 15,150. If we do come down to the 15,150, it's going to be very interesting to see what this market does, because if we do not hold there, I do not see much support down below. If we do crack below that flush point, maybe we're going to move down back into the 14,000. So let's watch that 15,150 today, guys. If we get that test, let's see how the market reacts to it. That is what I would be watching. So that's the Nasdaq. Let's go to the ES. Yeah, I think it's a little bit optimistic to think that we could push up through there, but hey, we've seen crazier things, haven't we? So we always want to come into the day unbiased. I think that is something that I really aim to do, and I think a lot of people are maybe sometimes a little bit too biased in a single direction, and sometimes it does affect their trading. Let's go. Let me look at I'm gonna have to start using the 200 moving average as we move down. I usually don't have it on because the market typically isn't near that, but it might be time to start adding that 200 to the studies. 200 right around that 14,980, right in that September high area. So you guys can keep an eye on that as well. You have that 15,150 and that 200 SMA right down there. All right, let's go to the ES. So the ES, I've been sort of watching this little uptrend that's been forming, but I think we're looking to reject that uptrend today, potentially. It's hard to draw it because there's so many wicks. On like the 4 hour, you could draw it like this. On the daily, you could draw it differently. So here on the 4 hour, if you do include the wicks on the downside, we're sort of bouncing right off that uptrend this morning. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Little uptrend in the short term, which could also turn into a bearish flag, right? If we do get maybe a push off of it and then a rejection under it, right? That could be a little bit of a bear flag here on the ES, which could be a little nasty to the downside. So just watch that little uptrend that the S&P is forming. And then, of course, the same exact August levels here, 45.40. You guys can see from back here in August, September, I am definitely watching us for a retest of that level. Right down here, you can see we have a previous resistance, turned into support, and do we turn that into support once again? I think that is very possible. So I would, watch for this is the most important hold here at 45.40. If we do break below that, that would be something to be concerned about. Here's the daily chart. So you can see the 100 SMA is right down here around 45.70. So we do have that 100 SMA support, 200 all the way down at 44.17. So as of right now, I said this yesterday, we're in a chop zone. We're in a range. It's hard to trust a direction. So right now, guys, we're just in this zone of chop, and it's just really difficult to know the next direction. And this is why I talked about it yesterday in the stream. It's just, why would you be, swing trading is just not the move right now, because how do you know what way this goes the next day? It's just too much guessing, too much, if you try to guess where you think it's going, I don't like to trade like that. I'm not going to buy SPY puts because I think this moves lower. Because what is telling me that it moves lower? Sure, market's been a little weak. Sure, we've had 3 consecutive down days here, sort of in a way, but that's not enough data. That's not enough conviction for me to go put money on the line on the downside. Not until I see a real direction. And you may think that's foolish. You may think that I'm just being too careful. But trust me, in the long term, if you don't put your money on risky trades and you only deploy capital on trades that you're seeing an actual reason for, I promise you're going to save money. You're going to limit your losses, and you're going to potentially have a better win rate. So right now, I don't have any reason to think I don't have any reason to come on this stream and tell you guys where I think this market is for sure going, because the market is not showing that. The market is not showing the direction. So right now, it's just day by day. Today, you can see the downside, down 1%. I think you probably move back down to this 45.40. If we do have continued downside, that would be the level that I'd be watching, right down here to 45.40. So that's the ES. It's just in a chop zone, and we have to take this day by day. And again, guys, everything that I'm talking about could be totally irrelevant when earnings comes around, right? Could be totally irrelevant when earnings comes around. So here's the Dow. The Dow is outperforming the rest, obviously, because it's the Dow-related names, not anything to do with the tech names that have been getting hurt. So you can see a little bit of a relative outperformance on the Dow. This 35.5 level, that's a level that I would be watching. You guys can see previous resistance, turned into support right here, turned into some support right here. And I would be sort of focusing to see if we find any support off this level today. So that's what I'm going to be watching today, 35.5. We are slightly below it this morning, but I am going to see, do we get any bounce off this level today, 35.5. That's my watch. If we do dip below that, then we're just in another chop zone that has little to no direction. If you look at this area here, between 35.5 and 33.8, right in this area, there is just simply no direction in this zone. It's just a chop zone. It's a consolidation channel. And if we get back into there, we're just going to be going back and forth once again. So I continue to say, guys, to anyone that asks me, to anyone that's, watches my videos, it's just too much of an indecisive area on the market to really choose what direction this goes. And the best way to go about this is to be trading intraday, to find intraday moves that you can potentially trade, because right now, it is too questionable to know the next direction. But all I can say is watch the 35.5 level today. See if that holds. You have the 100 SMA below as well. And if you do not hold this area, you're going to be back into this zone here. Back into this, little range. So that's the YM. That's the Dow. Let's quickly go over the RTY. The RTY is coming back down to Activision's halted. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell is going on here? 90? Oh shit. What the fuck? Microsoft nears deal to buy Activision. Holy crap. Wow. That is pretty big. That's awesome because Activision sucks, man. God, Call of Duty games are so bad. That could be massive. Oh man, congratulations to anyone that's been long Activision. Holy crap. I've always thought about being long Activision. Wow. Wow. That's sick. Is anyone long Activision? Oh man, congratulations to anyone that has calls. If you had calls this morning, oh boy, this is gonna be a good day for you. These are the days where if you randomly have the calls, you're just like, oh shit. Congrats, guys. If you're in calls on Activision, wow. That is sexy, for sure. Bing bong. Damn, $90. That's all the way up here. That's basically just erased like 6 months of price action. Shares, that's great. That's great. I wonder if you guys checked if anyone checks if you guys have like flow algo, go check the flow for last week. See if you started to see big buying in Activision on calls. I guarantee you're going to find something. You're in leaps for Activision? Wow. That's sick. It shouldn't be halted, guys. Pre-market can't be halted. It's halted? It's halted off news pending. That's why. It's halted off news pending. They can't circuit breaker halt in the pre-market. They can halt off news pending, and that's why it's halted. It's halted off on a code of news pending. So that is interesting. Wow. Activision removes 37 employees, takes action against 44 others for sexual misconduct. Hey, this could be some trading opportunity today for sure. Congratulations, anyone long Activision. That is wild. All right, let's get back on track, but that's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. I mean, Activision, I get it. I get it. You know, Microsoft could turn that thing around. I get it. You know, Microsoft has the capability to turn those games back around. I don't know. I could understand. Microsoft has so much money too. I mean, that's probably like a little drop in the bucket for the cash they have. So RTY down at these lows. I'm not interested, but as I say on every stream, guys, there's possible support down here at 2115, 2100. See if it bounces off that level. That's what I'd look for. If you get any type of small cap bounce off that level. All right. One thing I want to really quickly say on the Russell, start to take a look at some of these meme stocks, guys. I think these meme stocks are ready to go to zero, to be quite honest. I think if this Russell breaks down, AMC is going right back to where it started, guys. I know I'm going to get hate for this from the degenerates that are watching here. But honestly, this thing is dying. And if the Russell starts to lose it under that level, I think a lot of these stocks are going to start to get beat up. GameStop looks to be losing it. Look at that, starting to creep under these support levels. AMC starting to lose it. So these could be easy downside plays. It's down pretty nasty in the pre-market too. That's if the Russell cracks this year-long support. If the Russell cracks this year-long support and really starts to slip here, you're going to have to watch out on these small caps, guys, because they're going to get crushed. So watch that. All right. Let's get into it. We already went over oil. We went over economic earnings. Great. Let's go to Nvidia. All right. Nvidia, guys. How dare you apply logic and common sense? That's funny. All right. Nvidia, yeah, ARK's ugly, man. ARK sucks. ARK should be buying Activision, not fucking Roku. Oh, sorry, excuse my language. 100 SMA, you guys can see on Nvidia. You see this little push. You guys can see this 100 SMA that we are right at. Now, this is an important level because I believe, in my opinion, if the tech market continues to be weak, I believe that Nvidia should be back at 230. I really do. We had a pretty ridiculous move to the upside, and I think you will come back to 230. Why do I say that? Why am I, what's my thesis for that saying? My thesis for that is because a lot of other tech stocks are back at these September highs, as well as with the Nasdaq, right? So you have these August, September highs here on a lot of stocks that we are back and testing, right? So Microsoft, August, September highs, we are testing those levels. If I go to, I think AMD, AMD is not quite there either. I think Apple's sort of extended past that as well. And so I'm sort of basing my decision on if the NASDAQ is back to those August, September levels, which we are pretty damn close to. There are some tech stocks that are holding up, which maybe it's warranted. But there is some names that I think could see a little bit more weakness. And Nvidia is definitely one that has been very weak. Price action has been really trash. So I'm definitely interested to see, does Nvidia want to creep back down to these August, September levels? I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, and I think this hold here is really important at 260, guys. This 260 level here, if we do not hold this 260 here, I think you are going to move pretty quickly. Why do I say that? Because there is really no support from 260 to 230. This was a straight up move. If I was to pull up the volume profile, you would see that there is very little volume in this area. I mean, I can pull it up. This is what I talk about, like these indicators, you already know what it's going to look like. It's sort of just a confirmation of what you're already looking at. But here's the volume profile, guys. If we go to the daily chart, you can already see it here. Look at the gap in volume between 260 and 230. Look at this gap in volume. Look at how small the volume is in this area. Now, what does this mean, right? This means there is just not much structure. There's just not much price action in this area because there was just a straight up move. This move was vertical, very vertical. So if we start to test these levels, it's going to be a quick fall. There's not going to be much supporting it, and people are going to start dipping out of this thing. And I think you come down to 230. So I am very interested in this downside play. This could be a crazy, crazy profitable put option here, but I need to wait. I need to wait for it to actually happen. I can't get ahead of it because Nvidia could easily screw me and bounce, right? So I am watching that. Just wanted to make sure you guys are on that. Make sure you guys are aware of what could potentially happen here. I think if you see a break of this 260, if you see a break and a rejection at this 260, this is going to be moving lower. So I'm going to watch that for sure. Now, I don't know if that happens, guys, but it's something I am watching. Yeah, Activision, is it still going? SE. SE is another one that I'm looking at a very similar idea on. If I go to the daily chart and I go get a little bit more time here, let's go 4 years, we can see SE is at another very important level as well. Why do I say this? And why am I a little bit more I have a little bit more confirmation on SE. Why? Because SE already did the break and retest to the downside, right? If you guys look at this previous support right here, right? Support, and support. You guys see this little triple bottom here on SE. Look at what it did last week. Look at what this thing did last week. It is perfect, right? You break that support right here. Break this support. You push back into it. You reject the previous support as resistance, right? That's the same level, guys. You reject the previous support as resistance, and you are now moving lower off of it. Now, what this does for me is it confirms the upside resistance, and it also sets up a very nice stop loss, right? Because I know that I don't want to see SE back above 203, even let's say 200. And what I see here on the weekly is there is not much support at all in this area, right? So if I zoom in here, there is just nothing of structure. This was the last structure, and you are now breaking below it. So this is another one that I'm very interested in. If I see SE crack below this little bottom here of 168, I am going to be looking for downside here because this has confirmed that rejection, and I know there is not much support. So that's another one I'm watching today. Netflix. This one's going to hurt because I should have got into this play, but I did not. I talked about it with the chat on Friday. I actually posted it in Desi Trades. If you guys are in the Discord, I was considering to play a Netflix put off that news that they were increasing prices, because I have seen this many times, right? We have seen many price increases on Netflix, and almost every time that happens, it comes back to where it started, right? It almost always comes back to where it started. So I was looking at that play, didn't end up pulling the trigger because I was just, I don't know, I didn't want to risk it into the weekend. I said, you know what? Let's just protect the capital. Let's not go out for a play like this. But, it looks like it would have worked out beautifully. So you guys can see we pushed higher. We pushed right into this previous resistance on the 4-hour chart right here. Let's go to the hourly. Roblox is moving higher. So you guys can see we wicked right into that level right here. Wicked right into it off the price increase, and look at what it is doing now. So this is one that has earnings coming up. So here's the 5-minute. You guys can see, I think Netflix comes right back to where it started, which is right at 5.15. I think that's going to come right back to where it started before this price increase. So this is one that has earnings approaching, so be careful of that. You guys can see we have earnings this Thursday. So, this could totally invalidate any technical analysis I do. But if we start to move lower, I would watch out for this 505 level. You see this little triple bottom, 1, 2, 3. We have officially given up the entire move off of earnings. We gave up the entire 35% move. We have moved all the way back down about 30%. So let's watch Netflix today. Earnings are approaching, so be careful trading it through that. But it had a price increase on Friday, and I think it gives it up. Maybe back to where we began, right around 3 o'clock, right around 5:15. That's something I'll be watching. All right, Tesla. So Tesla's just in a trading range. I want to go over Tesla because I know people are interested, even though there's not much really going on here. But we're just sort of in this trading range on Tesla. So as you guys can see right here, we are in this range on Tesla, $1,000 to $1,120. That is our range right now. And it's a pretty nice range. It definitely has trading opportunity, right? From 1,000 to 1,120, that's 120 points of range, which could be tradable opportunity. So let's see what we do off 1,000 today. We have bounced off 1,000 countless other times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excuse me. So do we get support there again just because it's a psychological level and there's buyers in that area? Yeah, it's probably a potential move. If there's no catalyst to the downside, if there's no really negative news or the market just sort of chills, then I would assume that Tesla continues to try to bounce off this $1,000 area. There is very strong reactions when we push towards that level, and maybe there's a tradable opportunity today. I'm not saying there 100% will be, and I'm not saying that there's not going to be resistance above, because there clearly is. 1050, even I think 1100 was a tough level. So today, I think if you see a 1050 push, maybe there's a little bit of a squeeze above that level, pre-market highs. But I'm going to be seeing what does Tesla do when we get back to that $1,000 level. That's something I'm very interested in. If we go to the daily chart, we can see we're just sort of in this range right now between 1,000 and 1,120. How do you trade Tesla when it's in a range? Very carefully, and do not have a bias, because this thing can do whatever it wants in this range, and it does not care what you think. So just be careful trading Tesla in a range. Personally, I'd rather wait for a real move. I'd rather wait for the actual move on Tesla. But if there's any type of opportunity in this little range, I'll try to catch it, but I'm going to be very careful. So this morning, I'm just going to watch Tesla over 1050. That is something I will be interested in. But we can see there's a lot of resistance there, so I'm not going to be putting on big money in the short term. So that's Tesla. Watch that range. Baba, beautiful rejection. This is one that I definitely wish I got a little bit more aggressive on. You guys know we were here every single day on the live stream saying that Bob was going to reject off 140. If you come here on the live stream, you know that. This was a perfect rejection here at 140, right? And why do I, how did we catch that? More importantly, how did we catch that 140 rejection? Because if you look at the past, guys, Bob has been doing this forever. I mean, not forever, but for the foreseeable past here, it's been doing this exact move. So you have previous support that turned into resistance, here. A perfect little break and retest to the downside, right? And what is BABA doing once again? It's doing the exact same thing. Previous support that turned into resistance, right? And that's just really clear. It's really clean price action, and I love to see that. So do I think that BABA can move lower here? I absolutely can. If we look at what it's done in the past, it's moved lower off that previous support turning into resistance. Previous support turning into resistance. So that is something I'm definitely watching today, guys. BABA to the downside. I would probably look for it to start to hold up around this level here, right around this 123 area. We're down to 125 here in the pre-market. So this thing may be starting to get out of reach for me because it's already down a little bit too much. I wish this was not down this much in the pre-market. You can already see it's down it's down pretty bad. It's down 5% almost in the pre-market. So I don't love to see it being down 5% in the pre-market. That sort of gives away the margin that I have here. I would have loved to catch this before that. Unfortunately, I did not. But let's see if there's any more slippage today. Maybe down to this 123 area. You guys can see here, 123, 123, a little bit of support. Maybe it needs to come back down. Maybe it needs to fill this gap here. You guys can see this little gap here at 121. So I'm watching BABA to the downside. And my reasoning for it is on the 4-hour chart. It is a previous support that is turning into resistance once again. I think this continues lower. That is something I'm watching. Of course, market can do whatever it wants today, guys. Don't come back to this live stream and say, you said BABA is going to go lower. I bought put options and I lost money. I mean, that's just, if I see that comment, I know you're not a real trader. So let's see what happens. I'm just pointing out, I'm just pointing out what things I am looking at coming into today. Here's the next one. Qualcomm, it's been very strong. Outperformance, very strong outperformance on the chip sector, right? So Qualcomm and TSM, we're about to look at those two. Those have been very strong versus other chip names, versus AMD, versus Nvidia. You have some really strong movements here on Qualcomm. So you're sitting at these all-time highs. You've been stuck here at these all-time highs. And we have to see, does this thing actually push through? I mean, this could be a massive move if we actually get the push. However, it's just a tough level, man, and it's really showing its resistance. Every time it pushes up here, it starts to reject. So I'd be very interested to see if this finally breaks out. However, I'm not going to be the first one in line to take this. I will not be the first one in line to take this. I'm going to wait for a clear direction on this. However, it is staying on my watch list because you're making higher lows. You're starting to push into a very strong level here. And I want to see, can we get that breakthrough? Can we get that breakthrough? Or does this thing just want to trade sideways for the foreseeable future? I'm not sure yet, but I want to bring this stock up to you guys because it is definitely outperforming the rest. So Qualcomm, keep this on your watch. See what it does here today. Let's see if it can hold up. So that one and TSM. TSM's another one. Had strong earnings. Another strong chip outperformer. Very strong outperformance. Very good earnings. News of expanding, spending $40 billion on expansion. $44 billion on capacity expansion for chips. And that's big because that is the main reason, right, for the chip shortages. There's just not capacity to build the demand. And if there's $44 billion in expansion for capacity from TSM, they pledged to do that. That could be great for the stock. So I'm going to keep an eye on this TSM. I know it's been a little bit weak up here. You guys can clearly see it's been a little weak up here. A lot of wicks to the upside, which are a little concerning. You see these wicks on the 4-hour. And then you also have this gap fill level right down to around 132. So I'm going to keep an eye on TSM. If it does break this 135, I think it fills this gap, which is also previous support. So this could be a very nice little support area in this gap fill. This could be a nice place to buy this off of once we fill this gap, if we do see more downside. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on TSM. If we do fill this gap, I think this could be a very nice buy entry on that gap fill. And if we do get that gap fill, watch out for this little maybe potential flag that's forming here. If we do something like this, fill that gap, and then start to break out of that, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. TSM, good earnings, could have continuation. Don't forget about this one because there's something. It seems like there's something brewing here. At least there is tradable opportunity to either direction here. Either a gap fill to the downside, or you start to see that push to the upside. So definitely keep TSM on watch. PayPal. I forgot about. Let me pull up the Google Docs for the members. Thank God for Ike, man, who manages this for me. If you guys are a member of the channel, make sure to go over to the live stream or the Jesus Christ, the Google Docs. I'll go ahead and post it in there. Hold on one second. Copy link. Let me put it in the community tab real quick for you guys. 0118 for priority members. All right, guys. So if you're a part of the membership, just go to my channel, go to membership, and then you'll see the link there. So we got APPS, Activision, Win, XOP, Netflix, Okta, Nike, and Low. I have two basic rules about winning in trading as well as in life. One, if you don't bet, you can't win. Two, if you lose all your chips, you can't bet. I like that. So that's sort of like a risk management sort of quote. So you're gonna have to put money on the line at times, guys, but you don't want to put too much, right? You want to manage your risk. That's good. That's a good one. Here's your earnings. Here's your what's this? Oh, this is where the quote's from. Very nice. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. So make sure to check this out, guys. If you are part of the YouTube channel, you can make sure to put your tickers in there. All right, let's go over the last one I got for you. That is PayPal, and then we'll go over the members' watches. So PayPal, on edge. It is on edge. It's like sitting on an iceberg right now. So it is sitting on a very, very important level right here around this 180, 175. If we zoom out, if we get more time, if we go to let's just go 10 year, even though we're not really going to be looking 10 years back, we can see, guys, if this starts to break this area here, I would say the lowest this can go before finding, what's the low of this candle? 171. I would say maybe 170 is like that really big flush point. That 170 even is probably like the level of no return here. So keep an eye on like the 170 to 175 range. If we break below that, there's not going to be much volume here. And if you look down below, which would be crazy to see, but if you do look down below, there is a gap here that has never been filled. So this is back from May of 2020. A gap back from May of 2020 that has never been filled back at 130. So does PayPal need to fill that gap? We are on edge here for sure on PayPal. You can see the performance in the recent has been terrible. We are back to this very important support. Do we hold here? I would keep an eye on this stock, guys, because this is at an inflection point, in my opinion. This could be either a very nice downside play, or you get a push back into this 200. So we're at an inflection point here. I would keep PayPal on your charts. If you start to break back towards 170, this could be interesting in this level. This could be very interesting in this level, right in this area. So watch that. You got your push lower, your initial push. You got your consolidation, but are you going to be getting a little bit of a bear flag here? You guys can see right here, a little bit of a bear flag. If I go to you can see right here, right? A little bit of a bear flag, and we're starting to break below it. So are you getting a little dead cat bounce here on PayPal? Are you starting to get your bear flag? And are you starting to get your secondary breakdown? This is very possible, especially if the Nasdaq starts to get weak. So, watch out for this little bear flag here. This could be a very nice downside if you start to move lower. So watch that. All right. Members, all right, we got a lot here, so let's jump into it. If you guys could take a second real quick and press that like button for me. We got 900 plus people here, and we got 200 likes. That's a really bad ratio. If you guys could just take 1 second, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends. If you guys think your friends could use a pre-market live stream, that would be very, very much appreciated. Let's go ahead and get started into what the members want to look at. First one is APPS. So Just watch this level here. This is a very similar level to what we've been talking about on the other tech stocks, right? Look at the crucial hold that we are at. There's a lot of stocks that are at some major support levels that if they do not hold, there could be some really nasty downside. So I would just keep an eye on 49. Do we hold the 49? You need to see some type of bullish confirmation before going long, guys. You don't just go long as this moves lower. You need to see something like this, man. You need to see the higher lows start to come in. You need to see the bullish confirmation, right? Look at what it's done in the past off this level. Study what it's done in the past, right? So here is your bullish confirmation, right? Push off the support, a 3-day push, a little bit of consolidation. You got a little bit of a gap up here, and maybe that is your bullish confirmation you're looking for, right? So wait for something like this. Don't just buy this here because this could easily drop. So wait for that confirmation of upside. Wait for some engulfing candles, a little higher low to come in, and then you jump on it. So that's what I look for if you're looking for upside. Wait for that confirmation. Activision, we already talked about this one, but we'll go over it again because it's the talk of the town right now. Activision being bought by Microsoft. Microsoft agrees to acquire Activision for $68.7 billion. It seems like it is official. Microsoft says the acquisition will accelerate the growth in Microsoft's gaming business across mobile, PC, console, and cloud, and will provide building blocks for the metaverse. This could be massive. It is massive. It's huge. So keep an eye on Activision today. Maybe some tradable opportunities. If I go to the daily chart, we are right back at some really heavy resistance, so be careful of that. I wish I knew. I can't do this in my head right now, and I can't really value this right now, but I'd like to know what a $68.7 billion valuation equals in share price term. If we get actually we can do that. What is hold on. Can I get the outstanding shares here? Outstanding shares, where is it? Someone tell me the outstanding shares on Activision. Why does it say 0 here? Activision outstanding shares. $778 million. 95. Is 95 the real value? Okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's better than me having to do it. Appreciate that. All right, so 95 is the value of what Microsoft bought them at. So is there an arbitrage opportunity here this morning? Maybe, right? Maybe. Is there an arbitrage opportunity here? I would say probably. It's not that much off its real value of 95. So I would watch this for a little bit of an opportunity. If there's some opportunity up to 95 today, which is what Microsoft bought them for, meaning that share price should theoretically be at that price. Let's see. Oh, it actually says that. Okay, acquired by Microsoft for $95 per share in cash. Okay, I missed that. Sorry guys, I missed that. So let's see what happens. Do we get a push into 95? That's what Microsoft purchased Activision for. Let's just see. And guys, I would be very careful buying like long-term options on Activision. I'm not sure what happens here. So I've never dealt with that. I've never been, in that game. I'm sure you guys probably know better than me. Not sure what happens to the acquired company's option contracts in that situation. So if you guys have long-term options on Activision, probably consider taking profits on those today. This is the biggest move you're ever going to get. And it's the biggest spike in implied volatility. It's the biggest spike in IV that you are going to be getting. And any option contract is going to be up massively here. And you probably will never see it higher than what you're going to see it today. Even if this stock creeps higher, you're going to slowly get a decline in IV. And those option contracts will slowly decrease. So today might be the best day to take profits on any option contract you have on Activision. Because it is going to be pumped very high this morning. So yeah, watch that on Activision. Win, we're going to have to probably, I'm going to have to go really quick or I'm going to have to cut these short, guys. I'm sorry. Win Resorts. There was some positivity on casinos last week. I just really don't like this chart. It's been in a constant downtrend. You can see it starting to reject this downtrend right here. So for me, guys, on Win, I'd want to see it break this downtrend before looking at anything. Look for that downtrend break on Win. XOP. This is the oil ETF. Yeah, I mean it's just gonna move with oil futures, right? So you got pushes through highs this morning. Just keep an eye on if that oil future stays strong. Keep an eye on CL/CL. If XOP should move with it. It's just correlated to that. So I can't really tell you what's going to happen on oil today, but it's pushing through highs. Oil seems strong, so watch out for that. mRNA, I think mRNA easily comes back to 186. I think it's already on its way. You can clearly see the rejection that came in here at previous support. Look at this. Previous support. This is beautiful. This is exactly what you want to see on a downside play. It's literally textbook. Right here, guys. This is exactly what you should be looking for on a downside play. This is the only thing that matters. Right here, guys. This is the only thing that matters in trading. It's not the RSI. It's not the MACD. It's not, the flow showing mRNA puts. It's not, Mr. So-and-so bought mRNA puts, so I'm going to follow it too. Hey, Desi Trade bought mRNA puts, let me follow him. No, that's not what it is. It is this right here. It is price action. Previous support, nasty rejection. That is why mRNA went down. There is no other reason besides the fact that previous support has turned into resistance, and that is why mRNA is moving down. That is all you need to know. These 4 price action candles right here is showing you why mRNA is going down. So if you can focus on this and you can catch these moves, that is your key. So look for that. That is why mRNA is moving lower, and I would assume that it probably moves back down to this 186. There's not much support until that. OKTA, Okta. Looks like a really choppy chart off the, guys. I don't know. I would not be interested in a chart that's been trading sideways for an entire year. So watch out for this. I mean, maybe you find some support near this 200, but this chart's just been down. Maybe there's some more downside. Maybe look for this rejection off this trend here. You guys can see it right here, right? See this trend? Little downtrend. Look for that rejection off trend. If you push back into that, look for that rejection off trend again. That's what I'd be looking for. All right. Nike below 145. Yeah, I mean, that's a big level, right? You're at 145. If you get that break below, that's very similar to what we've talked about, right? So you guys can see rejection turns into support. So what do you want to see here on Nike? The same exact thing as mRNA. You want to see a push down lower. You want to see a rejection. And if you see that rejection, then you get into the downside. Because what did Nike do? It turned previous support into resistance, and you can see that previous support turned into resistance. So that is exactly what you'd be looking for. Do you play Nike puts here? No, because you don't have that confirmation that it's going to reject that support. Do you play Nike puts once it breaks and it proves to you that it turns the previous support into resistance? Perfect. That's what you want to wait for. The patient entry here and here. That's the entry you're looking for. Not, gambling on Nike puts because you think it's going to break down. Wait for it to show you that it's going to break down. So that's that on Nike. What's up, Zach? Zach is a college friend in the chat. Say hi to Zach. What's up, man? Lowe's. So Lowe's, Lowe's and Home Depot have been under some pressure. They've been monsters. I would assume Lowe's, if it does break down below this 245 level, you're staring at a really nice support level down here, right? So, maybe you want to see Lowe's back down to this 231. If you do get some weakness, this would be a nice support area to pick up some lows. So I'm going to watch that level. But, obviously there's an opportunity for us to hold in this area too. We just got to keep an eye on those Dow names. Keep an eye on the Dow, see how those hold up. Goldman Sachs, bad earnings this morning, down to 365. Pretty nasty drop. So what an absolute, just terrible chart, to be quite honest, guys. I mean, look at this. Do you really want to be trading this? I'm going to stay as far away as possible from Goldman Sachs. This is just an absolute mess. So, 373, 370 area, maybe down to 350 area, but this stock is just garbage right now, guys. I would stay away from it. I mean, maybe there's some continuation this morning, but I really couldn't, I couldn't give you an honest opinion here. I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction. I would say if I was to look at this stock, if someone was to tell me to look at this stock, I would say I wouldn't trade it because it's just an absolute mess. So I'm going to just skip on that. Roku, again, just a mess, just terrible stock right now. Continues to move lower. Look at how perfect this rejection was here on Roku. Remember when we were trading this? We traded this Roku move down to around, we were trading this here, and I traded this rejection here. Here's another perfect example, guys, of previous support turning into resistance. Just another example for you. How many examples have we looked at today, right? Support, previous support. Where did Roku bounce off of? What did it do when it came back into it? This is a perfect break and retest rejection. That's textbook. And that is exactly, as I said on multiple other charts here, it's not like it's some, voodoo magic, right? This happens all over the place. So if you can catch these, this is what you want to be looking for. Just a perfect break and retest to the downside. Look at how perfect that is. Previous support, turning into resistance. Once you see it coming back into that level, you look for the rejection candle and you play that thing to the downside. So that's textbook right there. And I think that continues lower. That was just a perfect downside play. DoorDash, I have nothing good to say about DoorDash. I don't think DoorDash is a very good company. I think the margins on their business have to be just sort of low. The stock since IPO has done absolutely zero. I mean, maybe there's some tradable opportunity off this major support area here at 130. But do you really think that it's time to get into DoorDash when the stock is doing this, right? It's just really, really ugly. No higher highs. All lower lows, nasty downside, nasty downtrend. Little bit of a rejection here at these previous support levels. So I would just look for, let's see what it does at 130. You either wait for a higher high to form, higher high, higher low, or you see if this thing breaks down, comes back, rejects here, you get in on this downside rejection right here. That's what I would do. But right now, guys, it's just too indecisive, right? Is this showing us anything? No. It's showing us that it's at support. So that's what we have to understand. It's at support. Okay, that's our first step. But what's the next step? Let's wait for the higher high, higher low, or let's wait for the lower low, lower high. Which one are we going to wait for? That's what we need to wait for. Are we looking for upside off a higher high, or are we looking for downside off a lower high? So that's what this is just, buying here is just gambling. There's nothing there showing you it's not showing you anything. All right, last two, CRM and Microsoft, and we got to get out of here. It's getting late. CRM, you have the support here at 216. It's starting to hold off of it. But again, guys, it's not showing us anything. Sometimes it's just about patience here, guys. This stock is not showing us anything. It's trading within a range. Which way does it trade outside of this range? Do we get the break and retest to the upside, or do we get the breakdown and retest to the downside? That is what you need to be looking for. But right now, it is range bound, and buying here on CRM is guessing which way the stock goes. That's just not the business that I am in. Microsoft is one that I would say it gives me a little bit more of an idea, right? Because it's at these September highs. However, Microsoft did acquire Activision this morning, so there could be some weakness. Usually the acquiring company does see some weakness. So you are seeing a lot of volatility here, but what you guys can see for the most part, it is trying to hold this 305 level. So I would just watch 305. If it gives up 305, then I would look for downside. 305 is a major hold. All right, guys, that's it. I hope this live stream helps you out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and have a good day. I'm going to look for the first thing today, guys, is the most important. Hopefully the lesson of today is wait for confirmation. Wait for the stock to show you the confirmation. Because how many charts did we look at today where you broke down previous support, you came back into it, you rejected it, and you started to move back lower? That is perfect confirmation of downside. So whether you're looking upside or downside, wait for that confirmation. A lot of these charts out here, guys, are just sort of in no man's land. And, trying to guess where they go is really just not a profitable strategy. So if you have to stay patient, stay patient. If you see something that's showing you confirmation, take your play with risk management. That's the name of the game right now. So thank you, guys. Thanks for being here. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I want to get to 40,000 subs. If you guys could help me out with that, that would be awesome. We're almost there. We got about 500 more. So if there's people on the live stream right now that aren't subscribed, if you enjoyed the live stream, please consider subscribing. Thank you guys for being here, and have a fantastic day. I'm going to go head over to the Discord chat where I trade live. If you guys want to join us, the first link is in the description below. Feel free to check it out. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the live stream. Peace out.